Okay, we're due a CMA for a meeting tonight at 4906 Linden Place. So before I go to any potential listing appointment, I run at least 2 reports. I usually run 3 if I can. That way I cross-check my numbers 3 different ways. That way I'm 100% confident in the house of what I know the house should sell for. It helps me compete with objections from the seller on pricing because I have 3 different things to show them. Most people won't argue me when I can show them 3 different ways how I got the same price. Where it runs into a problem is if I do my 3 reports and they're all 3 different. That means it's going to be interesting. So, but first and foremost, I logged into HAR and I opened up a tab in Tempo. I like to use Tempo. So I'm going to put the subject property in first to see if it has a history of selling. So I do that and I go to all, and sure enough, it's been sold many times. It looks like, oh, I forgot to do my area 5. And so it's been sold quite a few times, but most recently was probably this one. So I like to do this because it helps me look at the house to get an idea of what it potentially will look like. So if it looks anything like this still, you can see she hasn't done anything to the house. So if she tries to tell me that I put granite in, I did this, I did that, it was already here. So it's important to know that. So, but that's a really nice looking place. So it looks like I'm walking into a nice home. So the next thing I'm going to do is go into Realist and pull up, and this is the exact order of how I do a CMA. I'm going to pull this property up in Realist just to make sure I have the correct data, because listing agents can put in wrong information. I want to know what's in the county. So I've got 4906. Okay, great. I'm also going to go ahead and save this because I'm going to end up taking this with me potentially, because people like to know that stuff. So one thing I like to know is, again, sellers think their house is valued at what they're paying for, and they're paying taxes on 167. So hopefully, we're going to be much higher than that. But I'm looking at the neighborhood is Southwick, and we have 2291 square feet, and it's a 2-story. So I'm going to start there. So I'm going to come back now and open up a second tab. I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to bring up a second tab. And I'm going to start just with my area is Brazoria County. My subdivision was Southwick. And I want to search active auction pending, sold and pending. I'm going to try to go back just 3 or 4 months. I'm going to start with 9/1/15. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to check 2 stories only, and she did not have a pool. So I'm going to try to get a little specific here if I can. The other thing I wanted to go back and notice, she had 2291 square feet, so I'm going to round that to 23. I usually like to go 200 above and 200 below. So on my square feet, I'll do 2100 and 2500. I just want to see if I get enough results like that. So let's see what shows up. All right. Without even looking at them, I'm going straight to the map. I want to make sure they're in the correct neighborhood, because if you could spend a lot of time doing a CMA and then they're not in the correct neighborhood. So I know this area enough to know that all those houses are pretty much the same, and this area is very similar as well. So for the time being, I'm probably going to leave that up there for now. But usually I would maybe isolate this area if I needed to. But and you could do that by doing a polygon draw like this. And then I could apply that to the search criteria if I wanted to. But in this case, I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to look for similarities. So I'm ranging from 190 to 219 in that range there. Those are good comps, and I know they're all recent. So I need to find out why this one went so much higher. I'm not sure. For sake of purposes, what I would do is start here, and I would go straight to the photos and start looking through to see if I see any striking differences. I see nasty carpet. I see things there. So unupdated kitchen, things like that. So if I had a lot of comparables, like 6 or 7, I'd probably strike out the lowest and the highest. But even no matter how it is, they seem to go between 190 and 195, and then you have this wild card here. But so I'm going to go ahead and use those. I'm going to come up with this. All right. I can put the person's name there if I want, and I'm going to put their address, 4906 Linden Place. And I want to at least have their square footage, which was 2291. $22.91, that is correct. So once I got that on there, I go to View Print Client CMA, and that's where it shows my comparable property up there. And then I'm going to go ahead for today. I'm going to print this because I need this today. Okay, the next thing is, most people don't know about this. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do a View Print Price Adjustment. So now I'm going to come down here to View Print Price Adjustment. This is kind of a neat tool because what it does is it takes the average sales price, and it takes the average square footage of the comps to give you an average price per square foot, and then it adjusts the value of the property based on the square footage of the subject property. And then in here, if the seller tells me I put a $10,000 covered patio, I could put covered patio, and maybe it's really only worth, say, $5,000 now. Well, I can put that adjustment on there and add those things in. But for right now, I'm not going to do that, but I want you to see something interesting. So people wonder about the list price. So it automatically deducted $2,995 because this one has less square footage than the others. But down here, I like to put in a 1.5% variance, which gives me a list range of 193 to 199, which is perfect because I'd like to stay under 200. And so I'm going to calculate, and it gives me this page right here. So average sales price based on the thing would be 199, but when you adjust for the square footage being slightly less than the comps, I can show this to the seller that this is our sweet spot, 193 to 199. Print. Okay, that's coming. Now, I want to find out if 193 to 199 is actually a good thing. I want to check two different areas. So I'm going to come back to this page, and I'm going to go search, and I'm going to go down to Data Co-op. Okay, under Data Co-op, I'm going to put the address in, 4906 Linden Place, Pearland. And I'm going to hit enter. There it is. I'm going to have this little thing. I'm going to click on the address. And this is an auto valuation module, which means it's just using numbers in the area to see it. It's a computer doing a CMA for us. And it estimates that the value is going to be 200,611. Anytime you have a confidence score of 80 or higher, it's about spot on, almost going to be accurate every single time. And this is at 81, and I love this because the valuation is almost exactly where I just got shown in MLS. So, I mean, it's literally spot on, that 199 almost. So that's really good. That's a really good valuation. So I'm going to print this. The last report that I would run, I would go to www.narrpr.com, and this is your free realtor. As a member of NAR, you get this for free. So I've logged in, and I'm going to come straight up here to reports. And I'm going to do, I choose mini property report because it's short, sweet, and it gives me another, this is just another auto valuation module. You can use this for your CMAs if you wanted to. You can actually go in and do a full comparative market analysis with a report and everything, and it looks really nice. But I like to just do a real quick auto valuation just to make sure I got it. So I picked mini property report. I'm going to change the address, and I'm going to put my subject property, 4906 Linden Place, Pearland, Texas, and I'm going to hit submit. It's going to give me an option. It'll find it. There it is. Okay, so it's geocoded the property now, and I got mini report, and I can customize it with my person's name and everything, or I can choose to display now, or I can email it, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and run the report. This is going to take anywhere from 1 to 4 minutes to run, and it lets you know when it's available. And so if you look over here now, it says 4906 Linden Place, mini property report finalizing. So they must have really good comps because it's already finalizing. I've done some neighborhoods where it's taken like 6 or 7 minutes. It just depends on what's out there. Again, these are auto valuation modules. I would never do one of these as my end all be all CMA and just trust it because it's a computer and computers run just like Zillow. There's estimates, but these are going to run a little bit better because these are from Realtor.com, so they actually have they have information in here, so this is good stuff. So it looks like, oh, it says it's requested, so this will be ready in just a moment. So now when I go over there, I feel very confident that based on the HAR analysis, we're between 193 and 199. I have a data co-op auto valuation module with an 81% confidence score that says it's about 200, so I'm feeling really good about listing around 200, the upper 190s. And then depending on what this one comes in at, this will be a third thing to back it up. So if that seller were to come in and say, well, Randall, I wanted to get 225. Well, I have these 3 different things that show that that's kind of crazy. Okay, so here it is. We're going to download the report. And this is something you can actually print because it's going to show statistics for the neighborhood and everything. It pulled that photo from the system. Here's my information right there. That's the cover page. And then it tells you where you are in the neighborhood. And it says estimated value 190. And so, but look at the range, 171 to 209. RPM confidence, 5-star confidence. So it definitely was able to pull thing. And it actually tells me that in the last year, their value went up $1,000. You see that last month, up 1,000, 6.71%. So, and then you can go further in here, and it has all the public records versus a previous listing fact. It pulled the previous listing and all that. So, map view, you can see exactly how the property sits right there. Very nice. So anyways, you can see all the different information. It's going to go into the property history, the value history since 07. You can see it's been a steady climb. So you can tell, look, your neighborhood took a dip in the 12 and 13, but we've been on a very slow climb. People might say, oh, my property values have shot up in the last 3 years. Actually, they've been a pretty steady climb. They've just been a nice steady climb, much like the stock market. So, you come down here and you have all these different things. So this looks good to go in with. It even has housing stats for the area, Brazoria County, and how we stack up. And so, come here, and it's a 9-page report. Actually, I want to download this to the computer. Open it that way. And then I can print. So there's my 3 modules. I now can walk into my seller's house without carrying a giant folder full of paperwork. I've committed the numbers to memory. I know it's going to be in the 190 range. I have 3 different reports to back it up. And the best thing is when you walk in and they don't know what the price is set for, I'm always going to ask them up front, what were you thinking you wanted to list the house for? That's an unobtrusive answer. They're going to be like, oh, well, I really wanted to get $200,000. And I'm going to say, well, you know what? I think we can do that. Let me show you why. And then I would also explain, of course, there's going to be closing costs, so you're not going to walk away with 200. But I know I have a harder battle if they say, oh, I wanted to get 225. Then I have to go to work. If they say they wanted 180, then I feel like a hero right now. So that's what I do to prepare for a listing.